Welcome to Keeper of Secrets Tarot. I'm Gypsy Girl, here to give you another lesson for today. I'm grateful for the energy coming in, that I can bring out the lesson and share it with you. I am grateful that I can do this. I'm still having fun. It's I'd say the fun is in not knowing what the lesson is, and then it just appears, and it's always different. It's not the same, even if it is the same card that might turn up, like we've seen when you go back into the lessons. Some cards just like to come around, but they come with a difference most times. I mean, it really depends on the messages that do come with the lesson. And of course it is a lesson, so if you don't feel like you're experiencing it while it's happening, it only means that it's coming. Ooh, what's this? Oh, Queen of Wands. King of Wands, conversation for a commitment, making an offer. Wow. Isn't it romantic? Well, it's good when it's a match. King and queens that match are usually successful in the relationship, and I like to see that. Thank you, Spirit, for protecting us, keeping us safe. So someone's going to have a nice conversation about getting into a commitment and making a proposal. Wow. That sounds like fun. Queen of Wands, King of Wands. Congratulations. Thank you, Spirit, for teaching me, protecting me, keeping me safe, teaching the collective, protecting us and keeping us safe. What is the lesson for today? What is the lesson for today? Thank you, Spirit. One more. What is the lesson for today? What do we need to learn as a collective today? What do we need to learn? What is the lesson? What is the lesson for today? Prince of Swords. Well, this is quick thinking, fast paced. You see all the air and dust kicks up because he's in a hurry. A good example of this is racing thought, where you just run with an idea and you want to share it, you want to tell it. Here we have the twins, as in Gemini, for communication, because it is the swords, and he's got lots to say, but what he is speaking is truth, at least his truth. What is the lesson? Oh boy. Well, we like to see a lesson that makes sense, because running off and telling people what you have to say is the lesson in there could be being mindful of how you approach what you say, because he's usually very harsh. Not so much angry, but depending on the cards that follow, it would determine state of mind, but in a rush to speak. When you have so much to say, you feel like you don't have enough time to say it, and you don't want to be distracted or disturbed. So that's where the harshness could come across, where you just want to get it all out and you don't want to let other people speak. Well, the lesson in that is to be mindful and possibly make notes before you speak. I mean, we take it as it comes, right? The fact that you have something to say at all, is it going to hurt another person in saying what you have to say? Or is it just pure innovation that you have ideas that you want to build on with others? Let's see what the tool is. Hangman. Well, so we're going from fast-paced to dead stop. Sounds like where we are in the cosmos right now, or coming up anyway, or will be happening if it's not already happening. I mean, we would have to go back and check on the astrology if you're interested, to see where Mars and Saturn are right now, because this is Mars running fast and this is Saturn holding fast, stop, dead stop. And putting us in a situation where we're not sure if we're coming or going. And that's what this looks like. Because you're really going, at least your mind is racing. And you want to go, you want to send your body as fast as your mind is going in some respect. I mean, depending on what you have to say. Otherwise, it's just your mouth going. And the rest of you sitting still. But this one is the Hangman. Again, it's high arcana. So this is a spirit stopping us in our tracks, saying, no, you got to stop and think. There's a lesson right there. Think before you speak. Let's see what spirit is doing. The Hierophant. Okay. This is low arcana, high arcana, high arcana. So spirit is really doing the work here for us to give us that helping hand, to guide what it is that we need to say, because we're taking on a different perspective, or at least we need to take on a different perspective according to what we have to say. And what we have here is spirit giving us wisdom, pure higher knowledge, wisdom, authority, stability, decision-making powers. So it's not just speaking, it's not just thinking about what we're saying, it's going with purpose. A lesson in here, because this is teaching. This is like the Pope handing out a sermon, blessing even. This is highest knowledge that we could have, a judge even, that is thinking about a ruling and then speaking it, or sending the news. It's like this is news coming in. I mean, if it were a reading, it would be news coming in from taking on a different perspective that was put in stasis by a judge. And the news is going to come. Information is going to come from higher authority. High authority is holding on, is holding back, is waiting to give a ruling. See, it could go anyway. But this is personal. Again, it's a lesson. So it has to be personal. It has to be brought to your level where you sit in your situation. You look at where, do you have something that you need to say? I mean, yesterday's lesson was all about something that had to be spoken that wasn't being spoken, and the emperor was in charge. And now look, we went from 4 to 5. if we're looking at how lessons go. But Emperor was here. Okay, so I'm just saying that we had the Emperor overall yesterday. Today we have the Hierophant, which is the number 5, but with something to say. And we can't know unless we go further. But this is what Spirit is giving us. So we have everything that we need to know. It's what we will do with it. And the key is to stay, to hold, to put ourselves in a position that we can see the information or understand or speak the information. But before we do, we must look at a different angle. It will help us in what we think we need to say. If we're following the lesson in chronological order, we would come down to, well, what is it that we need to speak? Yesterday we were deciding on speaking or holding back on speaking, but now today is the body of what is it that needs to be said. What is the gift? Ten of Swords, we had it yesterday, it was fractured. Today it is in its all, its entirety is here. So Spirit is giving us a betrayal or knowledge of the betrayal or the final truth that needs to be said, because again it comes back. This is a 1, this is a 10. Together they are 11. That portal that we had yesterday, again we have it. It's a question of speaking up, And it cracked again. Look at that. It just cracked. Let's see what we have. We have the Queen of Wands. So it's a cause of a case of determination to speak. I mean, he is determined to say what he has to say, and she's determined to do what she needs to get done. And here we have our Queen of Pentacles, who is stability and reverent because of the goddess. She represents the goddess on earth. Here's the Emperor again. More things to speak. This mastery between these two, and these two are a very matching pair. These two. We have 2 matching pairs. Look at that. Again, the cards coming out to be the same number each time. Okay, I'm not even counting anymore. We won't go further than that. Well, the body's in the cards. So now we could say, okay, there's 2 couples here. But no, we don't have to. Again, it's a lesson, okay? So attributes. Let's look at the attributes. Let me see if I could push this down. Yeah, I will. Let's just push it down a little more. Don't want to disturb that deck too much. Won't have enough room for cards. Okay. Let's see, how does that fare? Very clear. Okay. Let's have a sip of tea. Okay. Abundance. That's where this was, Abundance. That's what she provides. So the feminine qualities, again, the goddess, stability, work, provision of work. Okay, so this is quickly, moving fast, need to speak, need to talk about work maybe, talk about providing work, talk about providing a home, because this is what she is. She is all about what we need. Maybe it's what we need to speak. But then there's mastery here. So knowing everything according to the Hierophant. We know what needs to be done. If we just look at these 4 cards, okay? We need to sit in stillness. We need to recognize what we know. We have the mastery and we have lots to say. And what we need to talk about is possibly very nurturing and caring and coming from the goddess. Okay, we're guessing here, but put it to your situation. If you know you have something to say, or you know you need to hear something, then is it pertaining to work, number one? Is it pertaining to your status of living? What is it? Because this is the body of life. When I say body of life, I mean everything that you could need. It comes in from this Queen of Pentacles, and maybe that's what needs to be spoken. Things that need to be heard, things that need to be said. That need comes from her. But then there's mastery. You know what needs to be said. You know how much needs to be said. You know when to say it. That's our Hierophant. Making sure that we are aware. And then the Emperor falls right above. So here we have that control factor again. That authority. Because this is authority and this is authority. And this is higher authority than the Emperor. This is the Pope and this is the Bishop. I mean, when you want to put the, echelons together. So, given authority, approval, mastery, because you know your business, you know what you need to say and do, and you know how, brings into control, brings into leadership, brings into authority. Now, this betrayal here, you can't forget, and this is a gift, because we've been given a betrayal, or many betrayals, or knowledge of betrayals, and maybe that's what needs to be spoken about. The betrayals. This leader is being mindful and caring, or a partnership is being designed between the two. They're coming together or they're working together. But between them there is discussion and it's passionate. So maybe this is a turn of events where our Emperor has so much he wants to say to his Empress or his Empress to be, because again it ends with the innovation here. You see the fact that we have 2 sets now. Take it as you will. Maybe you're 2 couples planning to get married at the same time, and this is your story unfolding. There may be a betrayal here, but for what? I mean, this is where you come in into your circumstance, because I can't know. What I could say is that it's a truth. It's historical. It's things that have occurred in the past. So you have to go back and remember what truths needed to be cleared, what air needed to be cleared, because we've been having lessons with a lot of this. And it's a question of your truth. You need to stand in it. And the Emperor knows how, because the Emperor is given authority. The fact that Spirit is giving us a time out where we need to stop and think about what we need to say. And again, this is integrity. That sacrifice that we have to make so that we could be together, whether you're falling with the passion or you're falling with provision, where you provide house and home for someone else, or you just have that connection where you're very passionate with your partner or the person that you're interested in, and you want to take it to another level, because that's what this comes in to say, that the relationship that you're in or want to be in, you want it to go to a higher level, and this is what you want to speak on, because you really have ideas, whether it's a working relationship or a personal relationship. It is about building. It's about building on information. It's giving information that needs to come out. Again, saying the same thing like yesterday. People need to speak. And this is the innovation of going with the passionate. So maybe that's it. The emperor needs to soften up himself from being that leader that's cold and become a little more passionate, and probably doesn't have to try it. The woman that he is around is probably giving him that ability to become warm and passionate because of this communication that they're having between them, that will bring in this, that he will become, the emperor will shift and become more passionate, and then he will have his queen. And this will take about a month. The next moon, follow the moons, see where the next full moon is, see where the next new moon is, or see when was the last new moon or when was the last full moon, and gauge from there. Timing. I mean, it's pretty straightforward when you think of communication, because that's what's going on. And this is communication, this is communication, this is to figure out which way you need to go with your communication. This is communication. It's a lot of talk that needs to happen, that will happen in fact, but it's nurturing, it's responsible, it's taking things to a higher level. So there is a question of marriage proposal here, or probably a relationship that went on to go into on the shelf, to be stalemated because there was an argument. Because this could be the fighting, this fighting with words is here with our prince. As a lesson goes, maybe words were harsh and then you stopped speaking because of a sense of betrayal. I mean, there were many truths, many experiences of harsh words has brought the relationship to a standstill, and now we need to have words, because it shows here we need to have words. The 8. What goes around comes around, but here we need to speak. We need to sacrifice the ego so we can have a real conversation, because that's what needs to happen for our emperor. For him to become more passionate, he needs to sacrifice that ego. And it could be that it's one and the same. It is one and the same. It doesn't have to be the King of Pentacles every time, but it's an ego. So it could be that the bodies in the card where we talk about relationship, they are a matching couple. However, our king or our queen, could be the queen, may have an ego that needs to be tempered. We won't take more cards because we have enough to work with this little scenario here. That is a question of how you speak, what you need to say. Let's take the oracle message on this. It's very light-hearted. As energy goes, I feel it very light. But it's conversation, and that could be difficult, because you say the wrong thing, or you say something someone doesn't want to hear in the moment, and create a fight. But that's where Spirit is giving us the opportunity to stop, take into consideration what the other person may feel, not just how they'll react, but what is it that you want to say? Is it hurtful? Can it hurt them? Because words are cutting. Words can be very cutting. Here we see her being our nurturer, our caregiver, our provider. I would suggest that take this into consideration, considering what you want to say. Make sure that whatever you speak is productive. Okay? It doesn't have to be... can't find my words today. Sorry. It doesn't have to be condescending or manipulative. I mean, you have to be very careful because she doesn't do that. Her words are meaningful, and what she speaks is about productivity. It's about nurturing. It's about making money happen, bringing in money. So it could be about work. Get news on work. the oracle message? If it is, then it's inside of a month or the next moon phase. Could be in a few days even. What is the oracle message for this lesson? But she's very hardworking and she's very determined, and that's how it'll end up. If it's a job you're looking for, it's coming to you, then leadership will bring it in, and innovation will take you to the next level of a lot of, when I say a lot of passion, well, you just love what you're working in. You love the job if that's the case, because you're going from Pentacles to Wands. Both working, but this is passionate. This is where you have a sense of fulfillment, not in a monetary sense. Here you get the fulfillment with the monetary sense. What is the oracle message? But it is a higher authority that's coming. Judgment. There is always a judgment, and this is leadership, as well as here is leadership, as well as here is leadership. So it's very strong. Look at that, wisdom and self-worship. So it could be that you're coming in to some. You're coming in because this is abundance and the news of abundance. Maybe that you're coming into some good news. Not all of you, but take it in your circumstance. Don't just look within. Dive deeply into the eternal realms of knowing. That reflects on our hangman here, as well as our Hierophant, because it's wisdom, and this is all about wisdom. Don't just look within. Dive deeply into the the eternal realms of knowing. That knowledge. Spirit is giving it to us. So you need to sit and reflect on what you know, what you already know about whatever circumstance you're in, whatever betrayals or other communication that didn't go well, whether it's untruths or gossip, talking about other people. I mean, it's your circumstance. There's a lot of it, whatever it was. But you have all the information. You know what you're working with. And it's a question of how you speak it, because that's what the lesson is. How to speak, what to say, if to say, when to say, because here we're in a stalemate. We're being held back. But for a reason. Because we got to go deep within. Dive deeply into the eternal realms of knowing. So go and look into what you think you know a little further. And here is the inner power. And then one more. The green man. Again, it's abundance with our friend here, our lady, the queen. Standing up and fighting for what you believe in. Again, it always comes in. This is with the emperor. See the red? And with our king and our queen, they have all the red, but this is the passion. But we know these cards. Let's take a look at this one. Self-worship. My hands fold as I speak to the stars, watching as the sky holds its breath. It's in stillness that I find all that I am and all of divinity within me. So you're admiring your own prettiness. Maybe it's because we don't. We're too busy working hard. We're too busy dealing with life in a rush that we don't have time. So just take a sit down and admire what we have, admire ourselves. I'll read it again. My hands fold as I speak to the stars, watching as the sky holds its breath. It's in stillness that I find all that I am and all of divinity within me. Appreciate yourself a little bit more. Maybe it's self-talk that we need to stop and listen to. What we're saying to ourselves, it's not bringing us to a higher level. I mean, it could be as simple as that, and not that it has to be with other people. But because we have more than one or two bodies in the layout, I do look at it like there is a couple happening here. Doesn't mean it could be two couples. It could be one. It could be none. It could just be all of your attributes working itself through your passion, your desire to change where you work. That's quite possible, because of her, this queen here. And the fact that there's mastery that follows, where she knows what she's capable of doing. She knows her value. She knows what she knows how to do, and she's not afraid to do it, because her ability she's very, very strong. She doesn't need to question, do I know this? She knows. She knows what she knows. And then this Emperor could be the ego that comes with knowing what you know. Again, it could be just one person, and it could be many. It could be a couple. It could be two couples. Because there's these two here and these two there. But again, we take it as a lesson. Take it personally. Bring it into yourself. Do you have an ego issue? Are you looking to temper your ego? Are you self-aware? What do you know of yourself? Maybe you need to sit and have a self-talk about where you want to go, what you want to do, what you know how to do. I mean, this is a lot of information here coming from lots of people. I'm getting used to that, you know. But at the end of the day, it boils down to the self. Again, self-worship. If you're worried about finding work, don't. It's coming. If you're worried about what you want to do, don't. You know what you know. And if you have to take the time, because Spirit says time needs to be taken, this is the tool, to sit quietly. Like I do, with a cup of tea. Just sit. Think. Think of what you need to say, who you need to say it to. This is good time. This is a really good time. Because of the astrology, it is a good time to take things in to perspective, what you think you know. And yes, by the next full moon, well, that would be in a month. I'll have to check. I didn't check the moon phases these days. I've been busy doing other things. But just know that by the 19th, I think it's the 19th of July, if I'm not mistaken, from that point until October, we're going to have a little unsettlements every now and again. If you're a fixed sign, and if you don't know what a fixed sign is, just go look that up. If you're not interested, just check your attitude. Because we're going to have, with the Mars and Saturn moving fast, slowing down, and a little bit of a tug of war going on. And that brings up negativity within ourselves. We get a little grumpy, a little cranky. We get a little agitated every now and again. And this is where what you say is important, or what you don't say. Sitting quietly. If you're feeling cranky or grumpy, don't try to pick a fight. Just sit. Let it pass. It'll take a few minutes. It may take a day. But it's working with the phases of the moon. This is why I'm saying check the moons. But look out by the 19th of July. See how you are with your own attitude. If you're feeling cranky, like our Emperor friend, then you know it's the planets. They're shifting around and making us shift with them. Okay? The inner power is very important. I'll read this one. Let it be known, no will or desire is more powerful than I embodied. And we had the embodiment card yesterday. And now we have Green Man. So it's abundance. If you're feeling like you're at a loss, nothing coming in, it's coming. I thank you for showing up, for your likes, your subscribes, and your shares. If this lesson didn't come to you as a lesson today, don't worry. It'll come around again. Love and light.